Oh, here comes Dan. And here comes Larry. Hi, Dan.
Hi, Jim.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you as well. Or finally in person. Robin, nice to meet you as well.
Nice to meet you.
Larry, can you hear us all right?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Just so you know, this meeting is being live streamed on YouTube, and I'd like to call the public hearing to order. It is 2 o'clock. Today's public hearing is being held for twofold reasons. One is the Delaware River has asked the IDA for some assistance in terms of inducements for this project. And because the project incentives will be greater than $100,000, we are required by legislation to have a public hearing. Second reason for the public hearing is this is a deviation from our normal standard pilot policies. And as such, we are required to have the public hearing for that regard as well. As part of the public, or as part of the deviation, we have to send out letters to all the taxing jurisdictions to let them know how this project will impact the taxes. So all those things have been done and are in place, and that is what has brought us to the public hearing today. I guess just for the record, Robert's taken minutes, and for the record, I'd like to introduce ourselves, and then we'll save your comments for later on in the public hearing. But my name is Jim Pierce. I'm the Executive Director of the Wyoming County IDA. And Robin?
I'm Robin Marshalek, the Director of Operations of the Wyoming County IDA.
Dan?
Hi, everyone. This is Dan Cavatello. I'm a developer with Delaware River Solar.
Thank you. And Larry?
Yes, I'm Larry Becker. I'm a citizen in the town of Pike. I'm a former board member and have been interested and somewhat involved in this project from a Pike perspective since the beginning. So just wanted to hear how things were going to go today.
Thank you, Larry. All right, I'm going to pull up for you. These are 4 individual projects, and for the purposes of this public hearing will be treated as such. So these are going to be 4 individual public hearings. So we will take them one at a time, and then in succession we'll bounce into the next one and the next one and the next one. So the first project for the public hearing today is called New York Pike One. It's an LLC. Just briefly, the company history: Delaware River is a community solar farm developer in New York State. Their mission is to develop and construct, operate solar farms and sell the energy generated to local residents and businesses. The LLC, of course, are all affiliates of Delaware River. The company has asked for IDA incentives, as I had indicated, and that's the reason that we're here for the public hearing. But the requests are for sales tax exemption, mortgage recording tax exemption, and a pilot. The description of project number 1, Pike One LLC, it's going to be a 2-megawatt project, will consist of racking, solar modules, inverters, electric wiring. The project's going to cover approximately 20 acres of land, and the total capital cost for this project alone is projected at $4.1 million. The project meets all the criteria for our energy production projects, and there's going to be private investment in the project, minimal job creation except for a lot of labor during the construction phase of it. It's possible that because of the nature of the project, there may be one job created over the next 3 years, but the developer has indicated that might be a subcontracted position as well. So moving on, here's the public hearing notice that hopefully everyone can see these documents. This is the public hearing document that we sent to the local papers to make sure we had publicly put this information out about the project. The company is asking for a 20-year pilot on each of these projects. There is a community host agreement that's in place with the town of Pike, which was kind of a prerequisite of the IDA getting involved, was to have that in place. So after the public hearing notice was done and set, we moved on, and if you can, I guess I'm gonna have to turn this thing on its head here. Bear with me. As part of any IDA project, we are required to do a kind of cost benefit analysis of each of the projects. And for, this is an incentive sheet, or actually, Robin, it says Pike 2 LLC on here.
It's labeled, the program kept coming up with 2 on that one. It wouldn't give me 1, but that is 1.
This is indeed incentives for Pike 1.
Yes.
So after running through the cost benefit analysis, we have determined that the property tax exemptions over the course of the 20-year term will be $1.26 million. The sales tax savings are estimated to be $165,000, and the mortgage recording tax exemption is expected to be $22,000. So that's what the incentives are going to primarily look like for this project. We have a map, and I'm not sure how legible it's going to be. I could probably zoom in a little bit greater, and maybe Larry, being a native of Pike, might know where this exactly is. The rest of us, I guess, maybe not so. But as you can see, Pike 1.
Yes.
Go ahead, Larry.
I just going to say I do know it, but I guess I couldn't explain it well to you folks over this Zoom meeting. But
okay, thank you. So this is in the town of Pike, and this is Pike 1 is directly off of Route 19.
And Jim, I understand it to be south of the village of Pike on Route 19 as you're heading toward Fillmore. And it's as you're going out of town, that would be on the right-hand side. With
Okay.
the village of Pike up on the top, the V shape up at the top.
that is correct.
Okay.
All
That's
right.
correct. It's high up on a hill just to the right of the road there.
If we had updated satellite maps, it would be helpful, but they don't update those very often. Okay. Bear with me while I rotate this one. So that is, before we jump into number 2, because these are all in sequence here, I would present that as the information about the Pike 1 project, and I'd like to open it up for any comments that anyone might have. So I don't know, Dan or Larry, since you're the only folks on, if you want to share anything.
This is Larry. The only thing I can share is that the planning committee and the board have approved going ahead with these projects from the perspective of what's been submitted to date.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, that's a good, great thing to mention, Larry, and thanks for mentioning that. The town's been really wonderful to work with, and we presented the projects and worked through the approval process with the town planning board and the town board under the new solar law recently adopted. And each of the projects are, I think people generally feel they're very well sited towards the rear of each parcel, which allows the landowners to continue farming the area in front of the projects. And just like all of our projects around the state, we look really forward to becoming a part of the town of Pike and Wyoming County to provide community solar to approximately about 1,800 local residences or small businesses. People can subscribe to the power and pay for the energy just like they do today with their regular utility, except they'll receive up to a 10% discount off of their energy prices guaranteed for 20 years by subscribing to it. The subscriptions are also portable, so if you move to a different part of the state, you can move your subscription to a solar farm closer to you. Doesn't matter if you own your property or rent. Community solar is available to anybody with a residential or small business utility bill.
All right, I thank you both for those comments. If there are no longer any comments for the New York Pike One LLC project, I would draw the public hearing to a close. And hearing no other comments, we will officially close the public hearing for New York Pike One. And using the same live stream broadcast, we're going to jump immediately right into New York Pike Two LLC. This project is also, all four of these are Delaware River projects, but I just want to jump down to the project description for Pike 2, and it's going to be a 5-megawatt project, again, consisting of all the components that are necessary for solar. The project is going to cover approximately 31.67 acres of land, and the total cost is going to be $9.8 million. The matrix and employment impacts are described there, and they're very similar to Pike One. For all these 4 projects, there are going to be minimal job creation, but they certainly are going to be creating some green energy and are going to be very helpful to the benefit of the community. Moving on to the public hearing, we also put a public hearing into our official newspaper for the Pike 2 project and describe the project for the public to see. And so that in its entirety is the public hearing notice that we published. Moving on to the cost benefit for the for Pike 2 project, the property tax exemptions through the pilot are going to equate to just a little over $3 million over the course of the 20-year term of the pilot. The anticipated sales tax exemption is going to be $397,000. And the mortgage recording tax exemption for Pike 2 is estimated to be $52,000. So the total project incentives are, after a discounted total, are pegged at $2.969 million. And we have a map showing the location for Pike 2, which is going to be adjacent to the Pike 1 project on Route 19 at the area that was described in the first public hearing by both the developer and Mr. Becker. So that would be the presentation for the public hearing for Pike 2. Again, I would open up any questions or comments that anybody has on the New York Pike 2 LLC project.
This is Larry. Nothing to add over and above what I said for Pike 1.
Thank you, Mr. Becker. If there aren't any additional comments, then I would close the public hearing for the Pike 2 LLC project. And we will immediately move into the public hearing for Pike 3. Pike 3 LLC is going to be located off of Telegraph Road in the town of Pike for this project. The description is it's going to be a 3.8 megawatt project, again, consisting of the same components that were listed for the other projects. This particular project off of Telegraph Road is going to encompass approximately 39.61 acres and have a total cost of $7.7 million. Again, the matrix criteria and the employment impacts are going to be minimal, but the benefit to the community is going to be very favorable. Moving on, here is the public hearing notice that we put in our official newspaper for the project on Telegraph Road. I think everyone has seen this that is tuned in today. And the cost benefit analysis will result in a property tax exemption, or the pilot, of $2.396 thousand over the course of 20 years. The sales tax exemption for any non-production materials and construction items is going to be $313,000, and the mortgage recording tax exemption will be $41,000. After a discounted total of 2%, the project is estimated to have a savings of $2.353 million over the course of the 20-year. So that is the cost benefit analysis, or the summary of the incentives involved for this project. We don't have to flip this map around. So this shows the location of the Pike 3 project. I'm going to try to get it down a little smaller here so we can at least get the road in. So again, I guess maybe would defer to Larry Becker about the location of this. It looks like it's near Elbro Road, but it will be coming off of Telegraph Road. Is that correct, Larry?
That is correct. Yeah, it was part of the Elbro farm property. And again, our understanding is where the solar will be actually located is not going to be very visible from the road. It's land that's not the best for agriculture. So it's kind of some scrub land, if you would, and that's where it's going. And Dan can correct me if I'm wrong.
Okay.
Yep, that is correct, Larry. The project is sited again in the rear of this parcel, and in an area that has not been very easy to farm in the past. Luckily, it has already been cleared, though. But it will be set back several hundred feet, actually close to almost 1,000 feet off of the road. So not visible from the road, if at all.
Okay, thank you, gentlemen. Again, if there are any additional comments for the Pike 3 project, I will take them right now. And if there are not, I guess I would close the public hearing for New York Pike 3 LLC project. Looks like you're staying pretty busy there, Robin.
Sometimes.
All right, I'd like to call the public hearing open for the New York Pike 4 LLC project. This is again the fourth and final project, at least maybe in Pike, for the Delaware River Solar Company, the developer on the project. For the Delaware 4 project, this is going to be a 2-megawatt project. And again, it's consisting of the same components that were described in earlier public hearings for the development of a solar project. The IDA matrix criteria and employment impacts are minimal. There will be a number of construction jobs with the project. But there is also going to be in place a community host agreement for the town of Pike. The public hearing notice is here, in which we submitted to our official newspaper with the adequate day's notice for the public to participate in this public hearing should they decide to. After the public hearing notice, we have the summary of the incentives that are going to be anticipated for this project. So this is one of the smaller projects of the four, and so we're anticipating a $1.261 million savings on the property tax abatements over the course of the 20-year pilot, an anticipated sales tax savings of $165,000, and the mortgage recording tax exemption of $22,000. After a discounted total, we are anticipating the incentives to be in the neighborhood of $1.239 million. This project is also adjacent to the New York Pike 3 LLC project, as you can see on the map. And I'd be happy to take any comments that any of the participants have for the New York Pike 4 LLC project.
This is Larry. Everything I said about Pike 3 applies to Pike 4 from my perspective.
Thank you, Larry. Dan, any last comments on this, since this is our final public hearing of the four?
No, I just like to thank the IDA for the ability to work with Wyoming County, and we look forward to being able to build these projects later on this year.
Okay. So we will be taking these minutes from this public hearing to our board of directors at their next board meeting, which is actually going to be this Thursday, January 14th at 2:30. If anyone is interested, that meeting will also be live streamed on our YouTube channel. So if there aren't any additional comments, I would close out the public hearing for New York Pike 4. And hearing none, and this public hearing then is officially closed. And I want to thank each and every one of you for participating in the public hearing process. And maybe, Dan, if you could share with the group what the anticipated construction schedule might look like should this be approved by the IDA board.
Sure. Yeah. So each of these projects, because they're located so close to each other, we would hope to have them on the same construction schedule, if not off by maybe a few days here and there. But the total construction process would typically take about 4.5 to maybe 6 months to complete from start to finish. So they go up pretty quickly. We would hope to start construction sometime towards between the end of the second quarter into the third quarter of 2021. So we would have them completed and hopefully connected to the utility, to RG&E's grid by the end of this year.
Okay.